Guys, it's Sarah and today is BookList Thursday. This is a video series I do with my friend Lindsay over at Lindsay's Little Library. And every Thursday we bring you some sort of list or book topic that we feel like talking about for the week. And this week we are going to be talking about some of our favorite thrillers that are written by our favorite thriller authors. So our favorite thriller authors out of all of their books, which one is our favorite? We're going to talk about that today. Okay. One of my favorite thriller authors, these are all going to be one of, is Karin Slaughter. I love her books. They are brutal. They are dark. They take you to uncomfortable places, and I am here for it. And I just love her writing. There's a little bit of humor thrown in there as well because she is a very funny person. And my favorite of hers is Pretty Girls. It is a standalone book. It is fantastic. It is one of the most messed up books I've ever read. I still vividly see scenes in my head from that book, and I read it quite a few years ago, and it has just been a standout thriller for me. I recommend it all the time in my store, and I absolutely, absolutely love this one. It follows a woman whose husband is killed, and after his death, she is finding out a whole lot of colorful things about him that she did not know, and some circles that he was a part of that she was not aware of, and what that means and what was happening. There is also another plot line that follows her childhood, where her older sister had gone missing while she was in college, and her body was never found. And so things from that keep kind of popping up as well. And so it's making her wonder if things are related. And yeah, it's fantastic. And Karin Slaughter is from Georgia. So the University of Georgia is a little bit of a backdrop here, which is nice. That is where her sister went to college. So there's a little bit, not a ton, but a little bit. And a couple little football references that I really ate up and enjoyed. So I love that one. Okay, Riley Sager. This was hard because I feel like I could talk about 3 of his books. So picking a favorite was a little bit difficult. And I still kind of feel like these 3 are, I don't know that I could pick one. I'm going to go ahead and say the only one left, which is his newest release. And that's definitely, I don't think, a popular opinion, but I absolutely loved this book. I read it earlier this year and just loved it. It is a Lizzie Borden themed book where we are following a woman who is a caretaker, and she gets into some trouble at work to the point where she doesn't really have an option but to go and take this job that is posted for a caregiver. No one else wants it. So she needs it, and it's either take this post or you're going to lose your job. So she decides to go ahead and take it, and finds out that it is for a woman who has been previously accused of killing her entire family because she was the only one at the house that night, and she's the only survivor. Therefore, everyone assumed it was her. Very much Lizzie Borden type thing. They even, over the years, there's been like rhymes and little songs about her and stuff. So everyone is assuming that she was guilty. Because of that, she lives as a recluse in this big kind of mansion that's on top of a cliff, but it's kind of falling apart. And so she, our main character, goes to this mansion to care for her because she is in a wheelchair and can't talk and has a hard time communicating and all that stuff. So she needs around-the-clock care. And while she is there, she is learning about what happened that night. And there's lots of stuff and things. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Second niche close is Home Before Dark, Haunted House. Loved it. Second, very niche close is Final Girls. Loved it. Those are like my 3 from him that are just so solid. I loved all 3 of those books. Oh, that's hard. Okay, let's talk about Ashley Winstead. She has written 3 thrillers, and all of them were 5 stars and completely fantastic for me. My favorite is The Last Housewife. Even though all of them are 5 stars, it's fine. But The Last Housewife was such a unique reading experience for me. I flew through this book. I could not put it down. I think I read it in 2 or 3 days. I could not put it down. And I was so lost in the story and in the writing. I felt like I was there. And I remember looking up at one point. I was just so into it. And I looked up and I was like, where am I? What's going on? Like, I just felt like I was there. It was insane. It was very much an experience for me to read that book. And this one is following a woman who is going back to her college because she finds out that one of her former best friends has died. It is staged to look like she took her own life, but she's not buying it. She fully believes that there is a group of people responsible for this, and it is a group of people that she was involved with in college, and it's basically a cult. And so she's going back to see if she can figure out what happened to her friend and if these people are still active, and if they are, how she can stop them, because they are very, very dangerous people. It was so good. So many warnings for this one, guys, and they are in the front of the book. She personally puts them in there. There's a lot going on. It's very dark, but it's so good. It's one of the best books I've ever read. Okay, let's talk about Stephen King. I've read 7 books by Stephen King, I believe. So not even close to a fraction of what he has written. Definitely not, but enough that I can pick a favorite. And so far, my favorite of his is Pet Sematary. That book shocked me in how creepy it was and how lost in the story I got, because I wasn't sure going into it if I was even going to like it, but I loved it. It was fantastic. And the ending, I remember exactly where I was when that book ended, because I stood there with my mouth hanging open for like 10 minutes after it was done. I was in my closet. I was putting away laundry because I listened to it. And I was just like, what? It's just, oh my gosh, it was so good. I love this story. So it's about a man who moves his family to this town in Maine, and they are living on this kind of stretch of highway. They're like a little bit out in the middle of nowhere, but it's a stretch of highway, and they live kind of on a curve, and people are notorious for kind of flying through, and taking that corner really quickly or taking that curve really quickly. So you have to be very careful if you're out, because you could very well get hit by a car. And that's what happens to their cat. Their family cat is run over by a car on this highway. And so he takes the cat across the street to the cemetery that is there. And there's a part of the cemetery that's all for pets. And so he buries the cat there. But does the cat stay buried? Maybe not. Maybe not. So, it was fantastic. I loved it. Okay, this next one, you guys are going to laugh. It's fine. You can laugh at me. I'm going to talk about Colleen Hoover for a second. Now, this is not my favorite thriller from my favorite thriller writer. This is a favorite thriller from one of my favorite writers, which is Colleen Hoover. She normally does romance books and contemporary books, but she has dabbled a little bit here and there with some other genres, including a thriller, and she wrote Varity, which knocked my socks off. I loved this book. I was surprised that Colleen had that in her, to be honest with you. I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it was, but oh my gosh, was it good. So this one follows a writer, and she is not doing so great. And she ends up getting this job offer as a ghostwriter for somebody who has written a book series, and it's very, very popular, and everyone's waiting for the next book, and they want it wrapped up and all these things. However, this author is in a medical condition where she cannot write anymore. And so the family of her estate and her family hires this woman to be a ghostwriter. So she is going to be tasked with finishing the series for this author. So in order to do that, she has to go to their house, and she's going to stay there for a while. She's going to get into it. She's going to get into all the books and read all the books and, do all these things. And she's going to finish out the series for this author who can medically no longer participate in it. And while she's there, she learns a whole bunch of stuff. Like, it's so good, you guys. And another one that had an ending that I was like, what? It was fantastic. Loved it. Okay, guys, those are some of my favorite thriller books from some of my favorite thriller authors, and just an author. So let me know down below what some of your favorite books by your favorite thriller authors are. I would love to know that. Are any of these people some of your favorite thriller authors as well? Do we share some of the same ones? And I will leave Lindsay's channel link down below. Make sure you go and check her out and see who she's talking about today too. And we will see you guys again soon. Hope you have a great day. Bye.